What's going on social, please?
How am I supposed to introduce these knuckleheads? Welcome back to the War Room, everybody. It's me, it's Jay from the Normal Crew. Jake and Nate are actually down there in San Antonio recording with Jared Taylor, so we got pictures of them. Those guys are just gooning out right now, so no clue. They say hi. Ben is actually on the road. He had some travel plans changed. So you got me, you got Jay from the original crew. We got Bobby Aller, a.k.a. Leonard Washington, a.k.a. River of Desire, a.k.a. White Chocolate himself. Bobby, what's
Tom
up? How you
Kennedy.
doing? Absolutely ridiculous. We got our friend Tom Marble. Tom was a former DEA agent and a USMC veteran. What's up there, Tom? How are you?
Hey, great to be on. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure having you here. And Stuart, we haven't gotten to meet yet. You checked on just before Jay hit the go live button. So introduce yourself to the folks.
Yeah, my name's Stuart McKenzie. I was an infantry scout sniper with 10th Mountain Division, 1st and 32nd. I was a firefighter. I also did contracting work with Blackwater and Triple Canopy. And I was on a TV show called Gold Rush for a while.
Oh, fantastic. Good, man. What's the TV show Gold Rush about?
So it's basically a bunch of dudes go out in the middle of nowhere and try and find gold.
Are you
And
fucking
so,
serious? It literally was Discovery's #1 TV show for like 10 years running.
I haven't watched TV for like 15 years, dude. I got off that stuff and never looked back. I watch like if it's not a streaming thing that I can get for free because I got an illegal box again. Tom, mind your business. You don't have to worry about how I'm getting my illegal shows. I don't watch TV, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not that guy. Stuart,
yeah,
did you
no,
have fun doing that? What is that like? Did you guys ever find gold? Is that a thing? Like, I know I'm
oh
new to
yeah.
this. I could probably watch the series, but
Oh yeah, no. I mean, so we were kind of just basically starting off, and essentially, uh, it is definitely like on the job training type of job. Like you don't know what works until it works. But yeah, no, we were able to find some legit gold. I think I probably have like $100,000 worth of gold.
no
Like,
kidding.
yeah,
In an unmarked location, you're like Ron Swanson. I have an amount of gold and it's somewhere. Just don't tell anybody.
yeah, pretty much.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, we would all be rich right now if it
We
wasn't
would all
for
be rich.
fucking
Bobby,
Stewart's BFF.
that's actually where I met Bobby.
You met Bobby looking for gold? Why does
Pretty
that
much.
check?
Yeah. Bobby, I'll let you take away.
Okay, so Discovery Channel was trying to run a narrative. They wanted disabled combat veterans to go up there, and basically the other guys were all group guys. Um, and it sounded like a great deal because they were going to pander to the veteran crowd, basically.
Hmm.
Anyway, I'm not one with an ass ton of experience, so I'd seen these guys the first year, and they were sucking ass.
Yeah.
And one of the guys that was on the team, I actually knew. He was my platoon sergeant at one time. Anyhow, fast forward, we're going to go up there. I have a few issues getting into Canada, but I get there. Uh, anyway, basically they pay you on how much your following and whatnot is, or what. Well, we had a tyrant we were working for that would promise you everything under the sun, but when he got to the place, he was going to rob everybody blind, and he was going to leave there rich, and y'all were going to sleep in tents for a
Hmm.
winter. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's
it was
basically what he
definitely.
did. And Discovery's a big liberal fucking show anyway. They can kiss ass. Fuck them.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, I'll be more PG and a little bit more like combat. Yeah, so it wasn't. There's a lot of things that went wrong, but it was kind of one of those things like I have a superpower, and it's basically grinding through bullshit. And so I just kind of saw the big picture at the end of it, and I don't care what you throw at me. It doesn't matter as long as I know that that's moving forward, achieving my goal. And so yeah, it's what you make of it, and I made quite a bit out of it. So
I've never seen anybody can let shit roll off their back like Stewart can. He'd be like, "Oh man, that's great, thank you, sir. May I have another?" And then when
yeah,
they turn their back, he steals everything they own, and then he comes back to work again the next day.
sounds about
That's the
right. Yeah,
best way to do it, man. He's a
yeah.
smart man.
He's the best. I can't do it. I'm over there trying to fight the guys. They want to
Oh yeah,
strand
no,
me in fucking Alaska or in the
Bobby
Yukon.
at the very end of it got pretty tense and pretty heated, and yeah, it's a story for another day, but
Yeah.
it got pretty colorful.
I can tell you're a man that likes, danger
Now,
because you turned over Bobby Aller to do your intro. You're like, yeah, you tell the story, Bobby. I was like, everybody better buckle up.
Yeah, no. Well, me and Bobby, like, it was really, really cool.
I
Like,
was being good. I was good about the fucking story, is what I'm gonna tell you. Just trust me, I was being good.
no. Bobby was very, very, very tame about what he had just said. He could say a lot more if he wanted to, but it was one of those things. Like, we had only been talking through basically social media and then like the group chats that we had for the mining team, and then Bobby met me in Alaska, and we flew from Alaska, or no, we flew from, was it Seattle?
Seattle.
To Alaska. And that's where my car was parked. And then for, I don't know, 2 days we drove back to the mine site. Didn't have the music on once, and we just talked the entire time. We found out that we were in Iraq around the same time. We were probably only about 30 miles away from each other during the, and we were
Mutual friends out the ass.
mutual friends out the ass. And then also, like certain firefights or things that had happened. I'm like, oh yeah, we were here. And, you know what I mean? So it was pretty. We hit it right off, and kind of been really good friends ever since.
And then we've gotten ourselves into so many fucking crazy ass ordeals with defense companies and armor companies and shit. It's wild.
Yeah, and we were working pretty diligently on just trying to not really take advantage, but I just couldn't understand why we couldn't be the middleman for a number of things, like when it came to Ukraine, body armor. And then again, it was really a lot of lessons learned, because if we would have succeeded and gotten the money we were trying to get, we probably would be in some deep shit. Just because it was we learned a lot about business over the past 2 years. I'll say that much.
Yeah. Well, also, if you had all those successes, you wouldn't be here with us right now in the war room, hanging out.
You can look up Stuart's wealth right now, and it'll say at least $5 million. If you look him up online, Stuart McKenzie's wealth, fucking reality TV show star.
I don't know where the fuck it is, but yeah, I will say that. Yeah.
And again, chat, we always appreciate you. Jake is in the chat. Appreciate you, Jake. Hopefully you guys are crushing it wherever you're at right now in Texas. And then the chat, make sure you guys support us through the membership tiers. Again, we're pretty vulgar on here, so not able to monetize. We're out here begging for scraps so we can invest in the channel and get it to grow. So any support helps. But let's hit on some sensitive topics real quick. Tom, Bobby, I know both of you guys are in Texas. We'll start with you, Bobby. What is going on with the recovery efforts that is taking place down there? And for those that's been living under a rock, why don't you fill in what took place a week ago?
So I've got some of my good friends, Animal Stewart. You know him. Fucking he was a low pro guy for Blackwater. Mm-hmm. A lot of those guys live down there, San Antonio, Houston area, whatnot. Well, called me. And everybody we went down there on the 5th, like as soon as we could. And these guys are pulling bodies out. Wow. There's really, they want to say there were services and stuff down there, but there wasn't. It was mostly civilians and, vets and stuff like that out there on the ground. The Coast Guard did come out there. The Coast Guard did good shit. The state tried to do the best they could. The locals did the best they could. They were underplaying it in the media of how bad it was, because it's bad. It's really? Extremely bad. Wow. I'll give you an example. If you ever been in any of the cities that was bad, like Fallujah or anything, you could just smell the sewage and death. You can't ever forget what it smells like. And you could smell it out there, within a day or two, the animals and stuff are going to start showing up. So we're trying to do the best we can. But the water and stuff come up so high, so fast. I don't know if they'll ever find everybody because of the sediment. I mean, when there's cars 6 foot deep underneath the mud, I don't know if you'll ever find it.
This is an F-250, folks. This is how bad Bobby's talking about. That is an F-250 these guys are standing on. That's why recovery efforts are still ongoing. That's how bad it is.
God.
There's just a lot of unanswered questions that I brought up, and we all know that our cell phones, every time there's a kid, I don't care if it's in 100 miles from here, 200 miles from here, if a kid gets snatched, a major event, we'll get a warning on our phone. It starts screaming at you. Well, nobody down there did, and that's called the iPause system that's ran through FEMA. It's free to everybody. For some reason, the county didn't use it. They used a very old version called Code Alert or Red Alert. But no, guys weren't getting messages until 5 and 6 hours after the event happened.
Yeah, I heard
Really
something about that.
ill-prepared ordeal. It's really a bad deal because the National Weather Service obviously have been putting it out, but nobody is watching that shit. Nobody watches the national weather. The locals decided instead of doing something different, they put it on the fucking Facebook page of the sheriff, you know, because that's who we all follow, and we're going to make sure we go check the sheriff out at 6 a.m. And, you know, it's the worst possible scenario because it is the 4th of July weekend. The Guadalupe River is the spot to be. You've not just the camps, but the amount of RV parks that are missing is unbelievable. Well over 100 people now dead. But these are just the people that have been, somebody has known about them to be missing. If I went down there and was gone for 2 weeks, wouldn't nobody know shit because I just get up and go. And my name wouldn't be on that list. I think you're going to see a couple hundred, what you're going to see. And then literally 2 days ago, Ruidoso, right past it, New Mexico, floods like hell. Houston floods. I mean, something's going down. It's I don't want to say it because I don't want to start no conspiracy shit.
Say it. Say the word.
I'll say it. All right. Fucking company
Tom,
name.
what are you hearing down there as far as what's... Bobby, go ahead.
Oh, so, and it's so funny because about 3 weeks ago, they actually had the guy on the Sean Ryan show. I'll say it. I actually watched it. I don't watch very much content on there anymore because it's crazy as hell with all the fucking ghost seeing and rituals and shit they want to do nowadays. But anyhow, kid's name's Augustus Drekas. He's a 20-something-year-old CEO of a company named Rainmaker, where they're dumping silver ice, was it iodide, I think it is, in the clouds.
Cloud seeding.
So I went and checked his company's page. They did say they were doing a cloud seeding event there. Okay. Till July the 2nd, they said that it dispersed and, you know, they're not holding any accountability to it. The reason that this is happening, I'd like to add, though, is the amount of water they're fighting over in the state right now. We have underground ossifers in East Texas. Well, they're wanting to pump the ground to Dallas because they want to keep their lakes over there for recreation. So they want to drain the farmlands of the underground water. You know, Vegas, of course, sits on an ossifer as well. The other part of that is Elon has put in his lithium plant, which he stated he'd need to be to 500,000 barrels of water a day is what they would use. They weren't going to let him have it. Well, the numbers have changed. They're up to 8 million barrels of water a day that they need. 8 million gallons of water a day they need. So they're going to start flooding the fucking area is what they're going to do. So
That's wild.
look it
Tom,
up.
what are you hearing?
Yeah, Jay. So I live in Medina County, which, you know, we've been dealing with the drought right next to Medina Lake, which is not a lake, it's a canyon. And, you know, I've driven through Kerrville. I have not gone up there. A good buddy of mine runs a company. He has drones. He runs ATAC. He teaches ATAC. He called everybody he knows to try to help out. And, you know, it was just complete chaos. And I just looked up Kirk County, which is where Kerrville is. And there's guys, you know, pointing fingers at other people about a siren system. But, you know, the whole alert on the phone thing, we all have our phones with us. And in my county, we got a great sheriff here. He puts stuff out, you know, missing people, suspicious activity, whatever. And it's, you know, not a whole lot of time ahead of the event or whatever, right after the event, but it's pretty quick. You know, my question is, does Kerr County have that? And, you know, back to your point, you know, I don't know what the systems are, but, you know, Texas, people don't realize this, it's county. It's a county thing. You know, obviously the big cities, they, you know, they run the cities, the mayors and the chiefs of police, but in the counties, it's the sheriff, the county commissioner. And I'm wondering, you know, what's up with that? Because, you know, now that this has happened, we're all digging into, you know, how did this happen? You know, that's a flood zone. They've had horrible floods there in the past. So it's not like something like this hasn't happened. So you got to question, you know, the people that are in charge there, why don't they have a better system? Obviously part of it is just the horrible timing of it, middle of the night, 4th of July weekend. The phone, if that was all in place, sirens and phones, would that have saved lives? Absolutely. But it's a horrible event. And, cloud seeding or not, I certainly hope, there's a thorough investigation. Because now with technology, if cloud seeding impacted that, we're going to find out. You can't hide now on the internet. Social media, everyone's got a camera, everybody knows something, and I hope in my home state of Texas that we won't put up with the bullshit that happens in other states where they cover stuff up, like LA,
Yeah, you bring up a good point, man. You can't hide. That's why we got all those answers about COVID. You know what I mean?
Well, man, not to get off topic here, but I'm really disappointed with this whole Epstein stuff going on, so yeah.
What's going on with Epstein?
What do you mean? Yeah.
What?
Some guy on an island.
Well, I know who he is, but
Is that in the news?
Forget about it, man.
yeah, what's going on with the files?
Please tell me you're serious.
I thought there was nothing going on with the Epstein files. I thought there was nothing going on with the files. There's nobody on it, right? There is no list from what I heard. Yeah, that was the last I heard. President D. Trump was, are we still on Epstein? Like, really, Texas just happened and we're talking about Epstein? Come on now, that's not important.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely insane.
Oh, man.
I saw that he had Pam Bondi and Trump were there, and then the reporter asked, and it was just like the day after, for the buildup and all the other stuff that they've been talking about, the list, the this, the that, the flight logs, yada, yada, yada. And then to do a complete, just 360 and say, no, it didn't exist.
I mean, you literally ran on that. Like, that was a fucking promise that got you so many votes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was to drain the swamp, get rid of everything.
Transparency. That's what I kept hearing, fucking transparency.
You guys remember Pam Bondi says it's on my desk? The list is
Yes.
on my desk. She
Absolutely.
said
That and Tim Kennedy's V device is on her desk right
Yeah.
now.
As we speak. A while ago, maybe. But no, they actually talked about, as far as, but their excuse now is that, no, the file was on my desk. I didn't go through the file, not the list. They're just playing a war of words right now where they're just like, it's insane. It's crazy.
It's like they won't let us know about the Maxwell deal, okay? How do you give a woman 20 damn years for trafficking if ain't nobody trafficked?
Yeah.
Well, and you want to know the wild one? Like when you start really want to look at a conspiracy. So a girl named Vanessa Jeffrey was one of the most vocal Epstein victims that's ever been, right? She was one of the people that brought forward the Epstein Files. She was saying in like 2019, she was like, listen, I am not suicidal. I'm not trying to kill myself. About a week before she committed suicide, she was in the hospital and she just looked like she was beat to shit. She said her kidneys were failing. She was in a car accident. I just want to see my kids. I want to live. And then a week later, she commits suicide. Now, the interesting thing about that is who is the person that she alleged sexually abused her? It's Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew hasn't left the island of England more than one time in the last 6 years. He was super afraid that he was going to get arrested or civilly punished the second that he left the island, his little enclave of royal support, right? So he didn't leave the island for 6 years. One trip off the island in 6 years. Magically, she dies in April. The FBI announces yesterday that they are dropping charges against the one person that Ghislaine Maxwell got put in jail for providing Vanessa Jeffrey to Prince Andrew. He is the one person that we know is on the list. That's who she got 20 years over. That's what brought her in, was the allegations against Prince Andrew. And now the FBI and the DOJ are just like, now we're going to close investigations. You're good.
It's super disheartening. And then the fake footage they put out just burns my ass up. They're going to show us the janitor's closet and make everybody want to believe that that's the fucking Epstein cell. I'm like, it's not even the same room.
Did you see the metadata showed that it was altered?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then also there's a minute missing, and then they had some.
I mean, altered poorly at that. Like, don't y'all have people?
Yeah, but it jumps from
Did you guys see
11:59
just on X that Dan Bongino is pissed off? He took the day off.
Yep.
And he's, so they're all throwing things out there that oh, he was involved in this memo, and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, they're all good. And now Dan Bongino is, doing whatever, is upset. But I'm going to tell you something. And as a DEA agent, I'm going to tell you, I've been kind of there, not FBI, obviously, but what does Pam Bondi and Kash Patel have in common? They're both lawyers.
White. Oh.
Well, they're both lawyers.
That's
So
accurate
Nate's
too,
not
Bobby.
here. I'm going to say this for Nate, and immediately when that popped into my head, I was like, oh, they're both married to Jewish people. So, Nate, we miss you, buddy. That's actually a true thing. Anyway, moving on.
Hey, so, Stuart said it's a war of words. Pam Bondi, whatever, saying whatever. So who's more worried about the words they use than a lawyer? That's
You're
why
right.
they go to law school. They're worried about exact words. So, that's all bullshit.
That's always been my
shady,
bitch about
man.
the government in full is like, what? I've never heard anybody say a good word about a lawyer, but we decided that's who's going to lead our country.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody ever had a good word to say about a fucking lawyer, but that's all we seem to put in office.
Well, what I can't even understand too is that the whole, like when Elon and Trump had their little falling out, and then Elon posts that Trump is on the list, you would think that would be like, I mean, I even remember like Epstein's lawyer, like when he was defending him for, I want to say the first time that he was indicted for it. He specifically asked, "Hey, is Trump on it?" And like he was like, "No." So Epstein's lawyer from the first one is saying no, but.
So let's clarify. So the lawyer came out and said that he deposed 200 people. He put requests out for over 200 people to come talk about Epstein. Donald Trump was the only one that went in with no time limit. He said, "We'll talk about whatever you want." Donald Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago in '93 for being a creep. Donald Trump is on the flight logs, but they're all flights from Mar-a-Lago to NYC. And every single time, I think he's on there like 14 times, 13 out of the 14 times or 15 out of the 16 times, he was on there with his family. He never went to the island. He just shows up on the list. And yeah, there's pictures of him and Ghislaine Maxwell together in the late 80s and early 90s. But everything that Donald Trump has done shows a distancing of Jeff Epstein. And everybody that said, oh, well, Donald Trump is on the list. Yeah, we know he was on the flight logs from 5 years ago and never went to the island. And when his that lawyer said straight up, Epstein was like, Donald Trump was the only person, one, that even responded to me. He's like, over half of the people didn't even respond. He's like, Donald Trump said, no time limit. I'll sit down. We can talk about whatever it is that you want, and I'll give you all the time in the world. And then he actually did it. So Epstein's lawyer, they asked him, do you think he's involved in the same thing that these other people on the non-existent list that doesn't exist now? Do you think he's involved in that way? The lawyer's like, absolutely not. He's the only person that would even talk to me. Nobody else even called me back.
Yeah.
That's what. Now, Aaron, what are your thoughts about the notion that Elon Musk wants to start a new political party? What are
he's
your
starting
thoughts on that?
I'm down.
He's starting. He's filing paperwork. Now, listen, I know as a good conservative guy, I'm supposed to take the uniparty line here, and I'm supposed to say you don't want to take votes away from Republicans. Dude, a new third party with funding and backing that doesn't sound like Ross Perot is exactly what we need. He's approaching it the right way, too. He doesn't want a presidential candidate. He's like, all I need is 2 or 3 Senate seats. If you get 2 or 3 people in that America party and they're in Senate, that is a huge disruption. Look at how much disruption Thomas Massey can do. Look at how much disruption that Rand Paul can do. With these razor-thin margins that we're working on, you don't need a president. You don't need a whole bunch of people. You need funding. Got it. World's richest man. You need a platform. He's pro-2A. He's pro-AI integration in the military. He's pro-military spending. He's pro-free speech. Obviously, he bought Twitter for $44 billion and revolutionized the platform to what we see today. It's the freest speech platform we got there. Shout out Mechagrok. That dude is super unhinged now, and I love it. I'm here for it. But when you look at that, and he's talking about all I need is 2 or 3 disruptors in order to make these platforms. He's anti-spending. He's pro-America from everything that he's done. He's got missteps, of course. The dude is a super autistic, hyper-billionaire supervillain. Of course he's going to be a little bit wacky with some of the things that he says. But I'll tell you what, I'm here for it. I don't care about the name. People are like, they're floating all these names that are supposed to go over there. When people start abandoning their party and they put the American party next to their name and they start grabbing these Senate seats, if he can make this into 4 Senate seats, he's going to change the game. because the amount of disruption that you can do with 4 seats in the Congress and the Senate, you are absolutely going to throw a wrench in the uniparty monkey works. And man, I am here for it. But I'm,
Bro,
of
I'm
course, a fan of
100%
chaos.
For too.
with it, and I think they should be able to let them debate and everything else. They always, if there's somebody tries to run a third party, they always oust them. They don't let them be part of any fucking thing. But literally, I believe it would be fantastic. I mean, you actually have another choice besides left or right. You know what I mean? And it needs to shake up, because obviously the same nothing's changing. Like, nothing's fucking changing. Or we get 3 years of a little bit of change, and then we get another side, and they fucking erase everything in a week with a pen. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm down to try something new, man. Like, fuck it, let's try it.
Well, and you know, I'm a fan of Trump's cabinet. I'm a fan of the people that he has. We have a wide tent platform right now on the Republican side of the House that has attracted disaffected liberals. One of the reasons that Trump won was the MAHA, Make America Healthy Again Alliance, right? Well, RFK just approved mRNA shots for at-risk kids as young as 6 months old. He spent his entire life talking about how we don't need this vaccine, and he gave a vaccine that we've proven through research and clinical study increases myocarditis in children at a level that is ridiculous, that we wouldn't accept for everything else, and he just did that. So the really interesting question is, who jumped ship? You get one of those alliances to jump ship, you know, the non-retarded libertarians that actually have a coherent thought in their head, they're few and far between, but they're going America Party. You have these disaffected Republicans, guys like you and me that are absolutely sick of the uniparty system, they're going to jump with them. They already have the funding. Funding is the only thing you need in Hollywood and in DC, and as we all know, DC is Hollywood for ugly people. But if you get over there and you're transparent and you talk about, like, listen, we're going to have a very small party platform. We don't like spending. We do like the military. We do like pro 2A. We do like pro free speech. We do like a return to normalcy. And oh, and by the way, we're not these other 2 fucking retarded parties. Guess what, man? You got yourself a little movement, and that's all you need. People want disruption. Even if you look on the Democrat side of the House, they like the dumbest politicians on the face of the planet because they're disruptors. They like Zoran Mamdani because he's willing to say, I'm a democratic socialist, I'm a communist, I want to defund the police, I want to get rid of all guns, I want to make billionaires flee New York State. People want disruption. It's just the culture in which we live.
Everybody's, and I hate to even say the word this way, but I put it towards almost the anti-hero anymore. It's almost like fucking everything that, if you, like you were saying, that you like, we like, we're fucking patriots. We're always going to love our country. We're always going to fight for our country, no matter who it is, because, you know, this is where we're from. We don't want to live any fucking where else. We've been to every other shithole. There's so many people that just want to see that they don't believe that the enemy has gotten so close, because they don't know how to look outside the geological box here and what's really happening. And they don't understand, it's getting bad. I mean, it's really getting bad, especially with the immigrants. And when I would say that, I want to say illegal. I fucking don't give a shit what color anybody is or where they're from. If you go through a port of entry, do your fucking diligence to become part of this country, man. I welcome you with open goddamn arms. But, you know, if you're going to come over here and try to exploit shit because you was able to fucking tote a gallon of water and swim a motherfucking river, and nowadays you ain't got to do that. You just go to Canada and fucking make a hump over the mountain. Fuck that, man. Like, I'm tired of that shit.
So, Tom, what you got? Do you think we need a new party? Is Trump going to lead us into American freedom with the American Party?
So, Aaron, I appreciate your enthusiasm. I really do. President Trump is a disruptor. Yeah. I voted for Ross Perot, man. I voted for that guy. And you know what? Here's my theory, and call me, you know, I don't know, the jaded old guy. There's no term limits. All these folks go into politics to get rich. Not all of them. I don't know how it works. They go in because their dad did it or whatever. They have good, you know, some of them have very good motives, and they get in there and you just, they get sucked in. And kind of like the military, hey, we're just going to do this because that's what you do. When you know, it's kind of stupid or it's not right, but it's not illegal. It's kind of like, oh, insider trading. Oh, I can make some money on stocks, whatever. We've got to fix the system first. And I think without doing that, a third party Elon, wealthiest guy in the world, is going to get crushed. Look at President Trump. This guy, they try to take him out. You have people being influenced by this thing, right? Everyone wants to look at this. We Google it, where everyone's an expert on whatever because they Googled it. Google has algorithms. They're going to feed you what they want to feed you. And I don't know what it is. I have my
Look how many administration that Trump took on that are social influencers or podcasters, etc. Like,
so that's brilliant. That's a brilliant tactic because that had an effect. I have no doubt it had an effect. But back to technology, they've got a special prosecutor looking at the 2020 elections on how the voting was done. You guys are all, I'm sure, Aaron, I'm sure you know about it.
I know about it big time because I know Gary Bernstein from Operation Jawbreaker was doing the investigation on it as a civilian for Trump.
Nothing for nothing. I don't believe it unless I see it myself or read it myself or hear it for myself. I'm not going to let somebody cut and paste a soundbite, whatever, manipulate something. We have the technology to absolutely impact election machines. We absolutely do. Anyone who says we don't is smoking crack. And I can say it as a drug dealer, right? Or DEA.
No, you said it right.
But
thanks for the crack epidemic, dog.
Yeah. The thing is, it's human nature, man. All the vices we have, there's got to be checks and balances. That's a step in the right direction. Maybe, the third order effect of Elon Musk doing that, perhaps that's going to benefit us. President Trump, there's stuff happening now that I never would have believed. I hope he fires a lot of people in the federal government. This whole thing, it's a bureaucracy. Guys want to protect their jobs. They want to get their pension. They want to get promoted. They want to go with the party line. Same way you see a lot of that in the upper ranks in the military, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
Me?
Yes, sir.
Brother, I'm gonna have my 60th birthday in a couple days.
Okay. Well, the reason I asked that is because you lived through eras that we didn't, and presidents and time and shit like that. So I like that, and I'm a big advocate of Ross Perot, especially because I studied the hell out of Vietnam, and people don't realize, a lot of people don't know what he did, and everything else. Like, Ross Perot was a pretty fucking awesome guy.
Yeah. Yes, he was. He took care of his people. There's a lot of things people don't know that he did. My wife used to work for when he was at EDS, when he ran EDS. So, but the thing is, great guy, he wasn't going to get elected because the way the system is set up, the whole institution is behind the Union Party. I'm convinced, Aaron, this whole Republican Democrat, it's a theater. All it does is convince people of how they view life, whether you're conservative or a liberal, that your guy is fighting for you, so vote for him. And now I'm suspicious of these states. I'm a conservative that don't have voter laws. Well, they all happen to be Democrat. So
the only
how does Chicago keep electing the same type of idiots where they got all these guys getting killed? I don't understand it. Or the people aren't that stupid. So you got to wonder, is something fixed?
Well, Tom. So my and this is a big thing that I'm really scared of, honestly, is we had 2 attempts on a president's life this year, and we have the way the media is set up to have a big event every single day. They whitewashed that shit within a month, like it was old news.
And we still never got any. It's more than a year later. We still don't have anything from Brandon Crooks's or from Thomas Crooks's cell phones. We still don't know how he flew a drone over the parade field for literally 2 hours beforehand. We still don't know why. They've geolocated cell phones that not only shot at a range that was frequented by DEA, DHS, HHS, and FBI. He lived right next to that range. That's where he shot more than 40 times. We can't tell you why that his cell phone was located at an FBI outstation that was within about 30 minutes of his house, or why agents, their phones were located at his house. We don't know why his house was professionally cleaned afterwards. We don't know why he was cremated less than a day after his body was released. We don't know why they hosed down the roof. I can go on for the next 40 minutes. It's a year later.
100%. I tell people, I was like, if you get shot in the head, they want you to believe he was shot through the mouth. And I was like, with a 300 Win Mag and his head isn't deflated. Secondly, I was like, if that first shot was supposedly the first shot, I was like, it's a cold bore shot. So, you know, wherever you're sighted at, how far off are you going to be on a first cold bore? You know what I mean?
You guys are asking too much questions.
We'll get on to it. I'm sorry. We're getting into some shit now.
Now, Aaron, do I still have feedback coming? And I know there's an extra screen on the live. I don't know why that is. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me loud and clear before we jump into this first topic.
Yeah, we're good, dude. It's standard J activities. Your
Nice.
tech is all messed up. Yeah, don't worry. They'll handle it in the comments.
Too easy. All right, so the first one we're going to jump into, guys, is China's mosquito-sized spy drone. Right? So China has unveiled a palm-sized micro drone, roughly the size of a mosquito, designed specifically for battlefield surveillance and reconnaissance. So the capability of this tech is ultra-small and lightweight for stealthy deployment. It's equipped with tiny cameras and sensors optimized for real-time data collection. All right, it's ideal for covert operation, and it can access places that are hard to reach. For example, a office building where the president just might be holding a event. All right, so guys, this expands China's growing arsenal of micro UAVs, signaling a clear pivot to high-tech asymmetrical warfare. All right, this is considered a game changer for China. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but after reading that story, like, what are you guys' thoughts on this tech that China is currently fielding? We'll start with you, Stuart, and then we'll make our way around.
You know, I think it's always alarming when somebody who absolutely hates you is, you know, getting a technology that is going to disrupt or possibly, you know, throw a wrench in whatever you're doing around the world. I always kind of go back to think, you know, as far as like, you know, we had night vision in World War II. You know, we had computers way back then as well, you know, some of the first computers. And usually with DARPA, you're sitting about 50 years behind whatever they release this civilian market they've had for about 50 years. So it makes me kind of wonder, you know, how far along they actually are. You know what I mean? Because if they're just now being like, hey, by the way, this is what we got. You know what I mean? There's no way that you're going to release your latest and greatest for, you know, somebody to look at to try and develop a counter for. So that's just what I see, is if that's what they're showing us, like, well, what's behind the curtain?
Bobby, what are your thoughts on this one?
If China made it, I want to see it work. Show it to me. Don't talk about it. Motherfucker, get that bitch out and display it. I want to see it. All right? Because they are huge with propaganda. You know, everybody's, especially with like what Tom was saying earlier, these algorithms and stuff, the amount of Chinese propaganda being put out is absolutely unhinged. The amount of Americans that fall in with that shit and look at these AI-generated videos of these massive cities and how amazing they are and where they're going to kick our ass and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, but no, they're not. I said, because they've been in 2 wars that I can remember, and they got their asses smoked in both of them. Mm-hmm. And we have submarines that are very badass.
Yeah, we have that one man array.
They have been stealing technology. So the number one seller of weapons to Israel is the United States. The number one buyer of weapons from Israel is China. And I remember in about 2002 or 2003, when we just come out with a new missile on our fast movers. I cannot remember the damn name of it. Anyway, a pilot actually was doing some maneuvers in the Middle East, sees a Chinese plane. They kind of fucking play around. Well, when he peels off, he notices he has the exact same missile. And Israel had just sold them that missile to reverse technology. That's where they get all their shit from. Anybody that believes that China's ahead of us or this or that, you're full of shit. We've been having small drone systems like this forever and a day. you got. I mean, it's just. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm saying I want to see theirs. So, am I saying they don't have tech and they don't have some smart ass people? Absolutely not. But what I am saying is we spend our budget just went up on our defense to $1 trillion. It just went up another 13%. So ours more than doubles theirs with a quarter of the fucking military because we put so much money into it. Plus, we just closed the gap by commissioning 4 civilians into lieutenant colonels to close the gap from Palantir, all these other civilian groups that obviously the DOD can't fucking pay. That's why nobody wants to be in the military when you can go be a millionaire over here. So they're trying to close the gap with that right there and putting these people in office. But also when you're in the DOD now, goddamn, you're under UCMJ. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of fuck you. I wouldn't have done it me personally, but whatever, So, I mean, it's there. I'm sure it's there. Everybody talks drones, but I mean, I know for at least 20 years we've had drone stopping technology pretty easy. Now they're trying to say they're tethering them, and I'm like, what is that motherfucker doing? Going straight line, not through the trees? I mean, like, I just feel like there's a lot of fucking propaganda going as well. I got
Gotcha.
a flash water.
Tom, what are your thoughts?
So Bobby's 100% correct. I was a deception guy, contractor DOD after all the DEA and Marine Corps stuff, soft stuff. So I did deception planning. And the Chinese, Sun Tzu says, all war is deception. That is what they are doing. They are stealing our stuff. Not just them, but they're very good at it. We have micro drones. We have a lot of technology that Americans aren't aware of. Mm-hmm. A lot of these UFO sightings are stuff that hasn't, I think it's in the public source. The F-47 has been flying for at least 3 years. That's probably looks like a UFO. But I will tell you, somebody said it, and I think it's from World War II. I think it's the Russians. I don't know. That quantity has a quality all its own. And the Chinese have a lot of dudes. So lots of stuff. So while our stuff is better, we care about human life. They don't. Obviously, the COVID thing. So that we tie our own hands. So we make it a lot harder for ourselves. But obviously, it's a concern. There's a lot of other unmanned underwater things that somebody mentioned. Manta. The adversary.
Manta's badass. Yeah.
And I want to say I read somewhere that there's a nuclear powered one that literally you launch it and it will swim underwater forever.
Yeah. So on that, Tom, I actually know what you're talking about, and they have built a system in it that exchanges salt and it actually can take salt water and regular water and develop energy out of it. And it also will take the geothermics out of the water to store energy and lay dormant wherever we want it to.
Yeah.
So I mean, they got them sit in strategic spots, and then when it's time to wake up, it's over. And these fucking things are big, like they're big, and people don't take that into perception. And the reason I was bringing up the subs are we have 3 nuclear capable subs that one of them has actually come up in the middle of a Chinese fucking field exercise that while they were doing their warship games. We popped up in the middle of their shit, waved at them, and went back down.
Now, Stuart, the system is telling me that you have another window open that's also streaming Riverside. Could you make sure that's also closed?
Okay, hold on. That's weird.
Aaron, what are your thoughts on this micro drone issue?
Yeah,
No, I don't.
China steals IP. They haven't innovated anything militarily in the last 65 years. Everybody knows that. Their fifth gen fighters are really fourth gen fighters that they dressed up to look like fifth gen fighters. They don't have the capability of the targeting suites that we do. They don't have the internal logistical structure. Their entire economy is a paper tiger. They often double bill their GPC and their output. You can't trust anything that they say. They're literally a second away from collapse. They have a declining birth rate. But these things that they put out, they're good at propaganda and they're good at a 100-year plan because, like we were talking about to start the show, yeah, we probably need to clean up our system, but we think in 4-year cycles and they think in 100-year plans. Their end goal is to remake the Chinese dynasty, right? The one thing that I will say is I like seeing the outputs with this administration. I do like seeing things that actually respond to threats like this. Just after Chinese unveiled their new little drone that they have, which again, I echo what Bobby said. I'd need to see that work and see what the capabilities are because they probably stole it from us anyway because we've had these things for quite a long time. Like DARPA has stuff right now, like the X-47, that'll absolutely blow your mind. If you don't think that there's a military version of AI that can blow every single large language model out of the water right now, you're insane. Like you're just
Like,
absolutely
it's so
insane.
badass that people don't understand that the reason they're using AI in these planes now, because they have a fleet of drone fighters that fly with them. Like,
Yeah. But all that being
What-
said, like I like seeing the output of it. And what did Pete Hegseth do? He immediately went in and from the DoD, he absolutely slashed every bit of red tape for drone development and the way that we purchase drones. Like that is his response to this new piece of Chinese propaganda, and that's exactly what he needs to do. He saw an obstacle and he said, hey, you know what we could do to combat this future emerging drone technology, all the lessons learned out of Russia, Ukraine. We're just going to take the cuffs off and we're going to do what America does best, and we're going to use the civil sector to innovate and come up with leaps in technology to stay ahead of our pacing threat, which is China.
And one of the things I just like touch on before we go on is Bobby, you were talking about propaganda. I was actually in Beijing in 2019, and it talks about the clean cities and all these other stuff. Like I mean, the smog was so bad that I could not see that a block down, in the city. And where like in New York, where we have like hot dog stands and whatnot, they have HEPA filter masks that are being sold, concession stand style. Like it is unbelievable. All of us got sinus infections, you name it. And so, yeah, the propaganda is off the charts when it comes to, they're trying to say the grass is
I
greener.
mean, we have military soldiers believing that horse shit, even up to the people, Nate's nemesis over there, fucking the Reaper, and he just believes that China's going to walk the dog on us. It's just,
Remember
I can't
Ukraine.
stand to hear people say it.
Yeah. Even before Ukraine, like when they're talking about everyone was like, Russia, 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 and just kind of seeing, like tactics and whatnot. And it really does come down to the fact that we have been in conflict, for the last 20 years. And I mean, I don't care how much money or how much training you have, like you're never going to know your capabilities until you're actually fighting somebody who's trying to kill you as well.
Well,
Now,
I'll tell you what, Russia was using last time. I'm sorry, Jay. Iran was using Russia's anti-aircraft system. When we flew our fucking fighters and stuff in there. Obviously, that shit don't work. Okay, so everybody kept talking about how they're going to shoot us out of the air. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. They had this fucking plane. They got this fucking plane or whatever. The shit didn't work. I mean, we flew our F-35s in there, which hasn't been the best plane, but obviously it worked good enough. But their equipment is horseshit.
Tom.
They fire old ass. I thought they were just trying to get rid of old munitions last time I saw. The propaganda machine was super crazy with that too, because they're saying, "Oh, we're just costing them so much money." I'm like, man, we ain't running out of money, man. We got a motherfucking money machine. Like shit, whatever. It blows my mind that they think
Now,
that.
Tom, do you think we'll ever
in
go
China,
into?
sorry, Jay. Go ahead. I'll get the rant on that shit. I hate it.
Tom, do you think we'll ever go into a conflict with China, or do you think this is just us and China and Russia just doing this one big long dance that's never going to amount into anything?
That's a tough question. We don't know the internal conflict going on in China or Russia. I mean, they have them. I went over to Moscow in 2012 and trained with the FSB Spetsnaz. Back to propaganda. Good dudes. I mean, they're soft guys, but that's their very, very best. And, They weren't in the best of physical condition. Their gear was okay. A lot of knockoff, a lot of Chinese knockoff stuff. So it's kind of back to they're not, I mean, you never can underestimate your enemy. And the reality of it is, I don't think they would proactively, want to engage with us. But sometimes, just like World War One, that shit happened when a guy got assassinated, and it's unpredictable. So could something happen that we're not even tracking right now? I mean, it could blow up in a third country, may not be directly with us. The whole Taiwan scenario. India, we're closing ranks with India. India and China don't get along. I could see something like that pulling us in, and the Chinese for sure are not going to do it in a direct attack. They would try to do something a little more subtle. But somebody gets desperate, they're unpredictable.
Well, what you brought up with India is a very big ordeal, and I don't think people understand about the ports and having to come through, like the Strait of Malacca down there is such a big deal for China because they have to sell through that, their imports and exports. There's only 2 months out of the year that they can sell around the top of Russia. Well, if you go pull up the amount of bases, we have a base on every island down there. Every single one of them, from Japan on down, all the way around. And you got Australia, Thailand. I mean, we've got them boxed in right there. So they've got to fucking play ball, or they don't get no exports out of the South China Sea. I mean, it's all about the money. Like, if you can shut down a country's money and their ability to buy, devalue their currency like we always do everybody. I know Jay up there holding on to his dinars because they gonna come back. Fucking.
I got so much dinars from that country.
$60,000 worth of dinar in the fucking refrigerator. He waiting on it. He's like, it's coming back, baby. I know it's coming back. But we devalue your currency. We kill your spending power.
Yeah. All right. Before we move on, guys, I got this self-development question I was saving for Ben, but something came up last minute. But Ben, we look forward to seeing you next week. But I'm pretty sure we can handle this question. We'll start with Aaron and then make our way around. Looking back, Aaron, what's the toughest internal battle you had to face? Self-doubt, fear, ego, and how did you overcome it to stay on path to excellence, crushing it as a PJ? All right.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, those two things are not mutually exclusive. Like, I was figuring that path out the entire time that I was a PJ, and as a matter of fact, like, to this day, man. Like, I didn't get sober until I was drinking hard for 25 years of my life. I look at that 25 years and I think, what kind of person could I have been had I been able to step away from that earlier? I look at what my life is now just over the last 8 or 9 months, and I go, holy crap, I've leveled up more in the last 8 or 9 months than I did in the previous 10 years, right? So I think number one is ego, and I say this as a narcissistic douchebag. Like, you just got to kill your ego, man. Like, if you learn to be of service, and if you stop listening to that internal life, that internal voice, and start focusing externally, start actually thinking how you can be of service and make your world better, I think things turn on a dime right away. And just knowing yourself and knowing that you're an imperfect human that is meant for failure. That is who we are as a person. That's the human condition. Is that we are imperfect idiots that even though you may have learned a lesson 100 times, you're going to F it up and it's going to be terrible for you that 101st time. And the sooner that you can realize that, the more that you break down those obstacles and you're able to achieve what your capability is. People use potential. Potential is bullshit. Like, this mouse has potential. If I drop it, it's got potential energy. Does it have the capability to be the greatest mouse on the face of the planet? No, because it's an inanimate object. You have the capability to be whatever it is that you want, not the potential. You need to lean into that. You need to kill your ego. And if you focus externally, we say it all the time in the soft community, right? What's the best thing you can say about a guy? He's a fantastic teammate. I can trust him with my life, my wife, and my car, right? I want to know a guy that I'm happy to be on team with. If that guy focuses externally, that guy knows that he is an imperfect human. He's typically humble. He typically accepts inputs. He typically takes things not as an attack, but coming from a place where he's like, man, maybe I did screw that up. Maybe I can be better. So I think the second that you kill your ego, you start focusing externally. I think that's when you start really becoming the person that you're supposed to be.
That's a really good
Bravo,
question,
man.
Aaron.
Fucking, that man
Jay's on a
fucking
Jay's on a
Oscar or
delay,
something.
so I was like looking at other people's faces. I
I'm
was
gonna
like,
get some
okay, is
clap.
it-
No, I was gonna say, who's following that one? Yeah.
No. Stuart, you're next. I just had my mic muted. Stuart, you're
Good.
next.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things that bothered me. So when I was wounded by a roadside bomb, and almost lost my hand, like they were able to reattach it in Baghdad. But following that was a number of surgeries, but at the same point in time, pain pills. And so I would say, yeah, just addiction to drugs, and all the things that I was just kind of pushing away and pushing down, and it made things so much easier to deal with, as far as PTSD, TBI, all my shortcomings that I had insecurities about. You know what I mean? And then also understanding that, not everybody in the world's meant to like you. You know what I mean? There's some people who have a problem and there's nothing you can do about it to fix their worldview. You know what I mean? So it's finding the people that are going to bring you up. Like, I want to be surrounded by billionaires and trillionaires. You know what I mean? Like, I want everybody around me to be successful, and so it's ditching the people that, no matter what, even if they're like, okay, they were my buddies from high school, they're my buddies from the military. If there's anybody that, that is dragging you down, they want to sit there next to you on the bar stool or wherever it is and not progress. You know what I mean? It's cutting the dead weight that is dragging you down. You know what I mean? And you're eventually, no matter who you are, you'll eventually get to that point. You know what I mean? Whether you're an old man or whether you're in your mid-20s. It's when you get to decide when you're going to do that. And so I would say, like, stopping drugs, not drinking, you know what I mean? Like, going out and, just accepting life for what it is and being okay with your shortcomings and progressively moving forward and just trying to be better than yesterday.
Tom?
It was all good stuff. I guess, dream, and never quit. Just go for it. Disappointments are going to happen. Things things didn't even plan are going to happen. Just never quit. Just keep driving. Surround your, like, Stuart's saying and Aaron's saying, we're all kind of going to say the same thing. Surround yourself with positive, good people. Be a good friend and teammate. Husband, brother, dad, son, whatever, but just never quit and have faith. Have faith. It's a plan, God's plan. We don't know what it is, and at some point it'll be over.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby?
Oh, hell yeah. Actually, this is actually a pretty good deal because I actually have a couple things to say about it. And one thing we've all agreed upon, like, you want to be around people that are, you're equal or better or trying to do better in life and putting in that work. They're not waiting on one of us to hit it and then they're going to follow along, ride the coats. It's not like the group of guys that's over there doing cocaine, but they're going in business at 4 a.m. in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, they done got it figured out. Can't none of them buy a car from CarMax. You know what I mean? These are the same guys that are griping, talking about, I'm not going to work that job, like I'm worth more. And I'm like, well, how are you worth more? Anyway, what I was getting with that was, we can do that, but I will also give people a piece of advice. If you're ever in trouble, always go to the poor. If you find yourself in a bad situation somewhere, the poor people will take care of you. They'll hide you. They'll fucking do whatever. Rich will be like, that motherfucker's behind the goddamn thing over there. But don't tell him I told you,
Experience, Bobby? Speaking from experience?
No, I just know how it works, man. You know what I mean? Like, the law shows up in you're in a different neighborhood and they know you. They're like, man, get your ass under the car. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're in a rich neighborhood. He's under the car. Yeah. Anyway, that is, and I'll tell you the biggest growth spurt I ever had was the day I learned to say I was sorry and it was my fault. And sincerely meant it, because used to you couldn't tell me anything. I was dead stubborn. If you said, if you leave right now, I'll never speak to you again, and it could have been the best relationship I ever had, but I was going to leave just to prove to her that I would. And that is the dumbest shit ever. So I learned to humble myself, say I'm sorry, apologize, and move on. Also learn to quit bitching about things and start working on solutions. We all know the problem. We can bitch all day, gripe, whatever, but until we start making solutions, the rest of the shit don't matter. So it's all about that thing. Like, it's just all about being better, and you can really will things together. If you believe hard enough and work hard, you will be surprised how the universe will start fucking turning for you. Other people notice it. They may not tell you, but they notice it.
That's a really good answer. But I think for me, it was ownership. And I remember till this day, like the one time, like the switch just flipped for me. We were out on an op, in the middle of buttfuck Afghanistan, like 02 in the morning, just clearing this freaking bazaar. And I remember our senior Bravo went around and did some dumb shit that he wasn't supposed to do, and my captain was livid, and a group of us are around. He's like, "Who did this freaking thing? Who did it?" And we're all like, "Oh, like it wasn't us. Like, we don't know." You know what I mean? And he's going off because the guy that did it wasn't in the group. And out of nowhere, he walked up, and the captain was like, "I want to know who did this." He was like, "Oh, it was me. What's the problem?" You know what I mean? Just that little action right there, like, diffused the entire situation, and everybody just started laughing. He's fuming at the ears, and we're all, like, looking at each other like we felt like shitbags, right? And he just came out of nowhere and he was like, "Oh yeah, it was me. What's the problem?" And I was like, "Oh man, the power of ownership has the ability to diffuse a lot of situations." Just accepting the fact that you're messed up and you did wrong, if you actually did it, will disarm your opponent, with the quickness. You know what I mean? So ever since that day, regardless of how messed up a situation was that I partake in, it's always like, "Yep, it was me." Owned it, and then we went straight to work to finding the solutions. Pretty good answers from everybody there.
With everybody saying that, Tim Kennedy's apology is horse shit.
I'm not talking about Tim Kennedy.
It's not what we get done, because we've all talked about apologizing and taking that step. That motherfucker is manipulative.
I can't believe Jay said the words "final solution," and then that gave us the bridge into Tim Kennedy. Guys, we are definitely demonetized. Congratulations, we did it.
Yeah,
we're not demonetized. Somebody put up the damn Israeli flag. Hang on.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna get the back. I'm getting this back. I'm bringing it back.
While Bobby does that, we'll transition into the next story, which is gambling addiction in the military. It's going unnoticed, right? So research has shows that U.S. service members are significantly more vulnerable to gambling disorders than civilians. A 2021 Rutgers study found active and retired military personnel are twice as likely to develop gambling problems. A 2020 review also confirmed that veterans experience higher rates of gambling disorder compared to the general population. All right, why is this happening? Demographics, guys. Age 18 through 29. Predominantly young men, age 18 to 29, with risk-taking personalities. All right. Another reason is environmental stressors, exposure to high-stress environments, depression, and PTSD. All right, and then of course the macho ego that normalized high risk taking and gambling downplay the mental health concerns that accompanies that. Now I know, Bobby, you grew up in the 82nd, so I'm sure you saw a lot of this, and I'm sure
I'm probably one of
guys'
those that's won six figures plus, several times. And Aaron lives in Vegas. They didn't build that place by people winning. All right. The other problem is it gives you a shot of dopamine. Anybody that's ever done any drugs, painkillers, anything that makes them feel good. Sex will do it as well. Gambling is one of those things. What I have noticed in my time in there is, I know this sounds awful, but people almost like to lose because it gives them a story. They can always tell you about the losses. They can't tell you about the win. So it's a really a weird ordeal, and the casinos and stuff have it figured out. They know how to draw people. You know, it's a lot of manipulation. The worst thing you can ever do is win.
Now, Bobby, while you were in the 82nd, did you witness anything like
no,
this
because
where you got a Joe with gambling issues?
we never had that problem because we didn't have. I didn't even have a damn cell phone. I don't think. I remember I got my first text message in like 2004. The job with the messages and I'm sorry, man. You know, I had a fucking goddamn. I had a Suncom phone. You could charge it one time a year. It was green
Was it a dick pic? Be honest. Was it the first? Was the first one just a heater? Just somebody sending you a thick hog? I bet it was.
Man, no, I don't want to talk about it on here. It's weird. I mean, something fell down my throat. You know, it turned out to be a piercing. I'll tell you another time. And like the candles that they pour on you, like those are certain candles. You can't do that with a Glade plug, like a fucking scented apple candle. Don't do that; it'll burn you. Anyhow, what I was getting at is, you know, they come out with these apps and stuff now. What is it? These sports apps that you can get on now. What the hell's the name of those ones?
FanDuel, DraftKings.
FanDuel, fucking DraftKings, all that shit.
Yeah.
Certain states have made it legal. You know, when you have action in your hand the whole time, the problem is with gambling, especially on football and stuff like that. Somebody played football. Oh, he knows who's going to win. Da 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 da. You know, they got certain spreads on games. If the average public that watched games and seen so-called miracles and watched the spreads of the game, you would never watch the fucking game again. That one basket that didn't seem like it mattered whatsoever, down 22 points, that guy just had to get in, it altered the whole fucking game. Can somebody, a group of guys, sit there every day and get games that dead close to the scores? Abso-fucking-lutely not. College kids are manipulated with money, cars, whatever. They're still kids. They're going to do it. The NFL, we all know, is for entertainment purposes. It strictly states it in their trademark so that they can alter games or whatnot. That's why they keep us on. This fucking holding call kept the game going, and we got to watch it to the very end. Or, you know, every game is dramatic ending. They're selling fucking commercials, shit like that.
So you saying all that shit is staged, like WWE?
You goddamn right it's staged.
Don't ruin it for me, man.
Jay, I love watching your innocence drain from this screen every week. Every week there's something that we talk about where Jay's face is just like my entire life was a lie.
Man, bro, you don't want to talk to me, Jay, no more, because I'm going to open your eyes, and you ain't going to, I mean, you can't go back once you see it.
Now I'm going to close them back up. Stuart, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I actually, gambling was not a big problem at 10th Mountain at all. Where it was is when I was contracting, when you have, you know, mid-20 dudes making $500 a day tax-free, whether they work or not, you would see some pretty big pots as far as poker and whatnot. I remember I saw a major, he lost, I want to say it was $18,000 in one night, and it all came down to like one final hand. So I can't even imagine that phone call home. But there was an extreme amount of money that was traded places. But me personally, like, I really suck at gambling. I have a terrible poker face. And so I just, you know, if I do go and gamble, I just mentally go ahead and say, like, I'm going to give this casino $100 because there's a very slim chance. I know Bob, what's crazy about it is I've seen Bobby go in and he has such like a system that he works. And I rarely have seen Bobby lose when it comes to gambling.
Well, I'll say this is, you know, when people look up numbers and they're like, oh, 1 in 6, 1 in 7, I said, but that's done over 1,000, you know, like thousands of numbers to get that right there. You know, when I see guys saying, well, there's no way you can lose 10 hands in a row. I'm like, yeah, you can. You can lose fucking 40 in a row. It's got the same average every damn single time. But I know these things, and I know what's coming, and there's patterns in it. And I'm like I showed Stuart. I was like, it's the ability to take a win and walk away. Mm-hmm. For me to wager $1,000 and win one hand of blackjack, I can walk away with $1,000 and have fun. We're all going to get fucked up. The same person over there that's not willing to risk that amount of money, how much do they have to win betting $5 at a time for them to be able to fucking walk up and leave?
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
Yeah. Now, Tom, did you see any of this within the DEA as far as type A dudes getting addicted to gambling?
No, I, I suck at gambling. I, I would just tell you, I think the issue is just it's back to the phone thing, the DraftKings. I didn't even know what that was until you see the commercials. You're watching a football game, and there's commercials, and they only do that because they're making a lot of money. And I think it's just our society. People are looking for something that they're not getting, in their job, or guys join the military. They've heard all these war stories from all those old guys, and they're getting in, and I got nothing. So I don't know what the answer is, but yeah, that's never been one of my issues. Is I work too hard for that money.
Oh, dude, I tell you what, every fucking Sunday, I would play the Millionaire Maker, right? DraftKings, dude. The Millionaire Maker, $20 a pop. Like, I would get my lineup ready, submitted, and it's like there was this time I came so freaking close, right? And then the one player, I think it was Juwan Jennings from like San Francisco. That dude was on the bench the entire season, right? Haven't played a lick of playtime. And then the one time he goes off for like 4 touchdowns, and I ended up not winning anything. I was like number 2. I was like, oh, this is it. I'm about to buy my contract from the military. I'm done. And then this dude goes off for like 3 touchdowns. I'm like, okay, that's not like, how does that even happen? This dude, like 16 game season, like this is the only game he's played the entire season, and then he goes off, and then I end up losing nothing. So I do think it's rigged to an extent. I keep burying my head in the sand and play FanDuel and DraftKings next season whenever it starts back.
For our crowd, I will just give one piece of advice is, and you can see this with all sports guys that bet, a competitive person has no business in there because they do not like to lose. And they're gonna, I mean, these guys, I've seen them buy videos and, I mean, just anything that they think was going to give them an edge. They've got it figured out, da-da-da-da-da. No, you don't. If you are a competitive person, you do not need to be in there because you cannot handle the loss.
Yeah, and that's why I had to cancel all my accounts. And then recently in North Carolina, it was just fantasy sports. But now they've approved like betting also. So I started doing that, and then I was like, you know what, I'm losing all my money. Like, I'll make a shit ton of money one day, and then tomorrow I lose it all. And then I was like, okay, I just need to delete all this crap.
When they started putting it on this right here, I know guys that are up at 2 a.m. betting Korean basketball. And I'm like, I shit you not. I mean, like, they're like, bro, do you know anything about Australian hoops? And I'm like, I can't even pull up the scores. Like, you just got to hope you won. You know what I mean?
Imagine calling Bobby Aller and asking if he knows about Australian basketball.
Well, I did. I used to have a guy that would call me. He's like, dude, what's up on the South Korean basketball this week? I'm like, always bet on the team that's sponsored by oil and gas. And they, for some reason, would fucking come out winning every week.
Imagine.
Oh, man. Aaron, what's going on with Donald Trump and Putin? Could you let us fill us in on that one?
This is the greatest ever. If you guys aren't aware, Richard Nixon used to do this thing called the Madman Doctrine, where nobody knew what he was going to do, and Donald Trump has perfected this bad boy like nobody else. So in some leaked audio, Trump basically says that he threatened to bomb Moscow if Putin invaded Ukraine. So he said he threatened to bomb Moscow if Russian President Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, according to some new audio from a Trump fundraising dinner ahead of his election in 2024. He appeared to be referencing a conversation he purportedly had with a Russian leader during his first term. I'm going to do the Trump part, or the Trump voice for this next part. With Putin, I said, if you go to Ukraine, I'm going to bomb the shit out of Moscow. Trump said, he can be heard saying during the recording. He said, no way. And I said, way. And then he goes, I don't believe you. But the truth is, he believed me 10%. So basically the story goes on to say that Donald Trump essentially told Putin, hey, if you do this shit, I'm going to bomb you 10%. But that 10% was all that he needed to stop Putin because he believed him to 10%. Now, this is a little bit of deterrence, a little bit of bravado. Again, you should take Trump seriously, don't take him literally. So, hey, I feel like this is a Trump conversation that probably happened. He's been known to go off on these things. You saw him outside of Marine One when he said that Israel and Iran had no fucking clue what they were doing. And everybody's like, oh, I can't believe the president cursed. Bro, it's Donald Trump. So he's not a politician. He's the president. He's a disruptor, and he's there. So I'll start with you, Tom, our worldly friend. So we know that Donald Trump loves deterrence, loves talking a hyperbolic game. It's how he negotiates. It's in the art of the deal. Start from a maximus hyperbolic condition and then work your way back for negotiations. Do you think that there's a place for this sort of thing in politics?
So today, you asked me this question 10 years ago, I'd say no. I mean, it would be, the president's got to have decorum and be tactful. Today's world, it's working. It is the art of the deal. And I will tell you, that strike on the nuclear facility in Iran,
Operation Midnight Hammer, best operation name in the last 10 years. I'm sorry. Midnight Hammer?
So I look at the things through the information warfare lens. That's what I've been doing the last several years. So whether it was intended, all the dumb shit that the reporters were saying, trying to throw darts at, hey, that wasn't effective, whatever. Well, when SecDef comes out and Raising Cane comes out, who Air Force, that guy should have been a Marine. That guy is hardcore. They go down the rabbit hole. We had guys at Ditra working this target for 15 years. We flew in there and took care of it. That message goes to Putin. It goes to Xi. That is a deterrent. That is a huge deterrent. So his job as the president is to keep us safe. People get all fixated on, social stuff. I think a lot of that should be at the state level, but keep us safe, control our borders, interstate commerce. There are some federal laws. Drugs are bad. You guys have talked about that. The government has to take some position to protect people from their own stupidity, but you can't overreach.
Natural selection, Tom. Natural selection.
Yeah. Well, Americans, we want to make sure everyone's got a fair shot. Back to the Russia. I tell you, the short time I spent with the Russian Spetsnaz, those guys may not be in the greatest shape, but they'll endure pain like nobody else. Those guys, they'll smash their hand with a hammer just to show you they're tough. So I guess I'm getting off topic here. It works. And, the guy is smart. I don't think anyone can take, there's been all these comments with the pundits. The guy is smart. He's thinking 3 steps ahead. I will tell you, he can't control everything. He's appointed folks that he thinks are good. We talked earlier about the DOJ. He didn't know her, I'm sure, until probably a few years ago. Met her at a party and somebody told her she's a smart lawyer.
She had a fantastic record.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. You're building this massive organization in a few months. So, yeah, there's going to be some people in there that probably shouldn't be on there. Trump learned the hard way with General Mattis, his first term.
I hate that son of a bitch.
Yeah, I got some personal stories with that guy behind closed doors.
Yeah, we'll talk about it another day.
Yeah, but anyway, so big fan. I think, there's a method to his madness.
Yeah, Stuart, do you think that 10% was a solid 10%? Do you think that 10% sure he would have bombed Putin if he invaded?
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely love everything that he does when it comes to that. I've heard so many different stories about him ordering, strikes and just getting the bombers up in the air, or sending certain tier 1 assets to certain regions, and it's just to scare people, just to get them to like when you see the B2s lift off and fly up, and they start heading in a direction, people that are in that direction are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, did you do anything? Wait, did you? They start calling around and being like, okay, they're still coming towards us, and then they pass over country like, oh, thank you God. You know what I mean? And then, but it keeps going, and then at the last minute he'll call it off, and then everyone was like, "What was that about?" And they're like, "I don't know." And that right there, 100% keeps people online. You know what I mean? Just the because you don't know. Because what if he's having a bad day? You know what I mean? And he just decides to press that button. It's better to just kind of, in their eyes, they're looking at, hey, listen, it's 3.5 years. You know what I mean? Or the rest of our lives. They're just sitting there like, eventually Trump will get out. We can maybe affect the election in 2028. Let's just ride it till then. And so I think that everybody just knows to kind of watch their P's and Q's for the next 3.5 years, and I, as an American, am beyond thankful for it.
Well, you and the rest of America, because these strikes and a lot of the things that are that the admin is doing get overwhelming support. Bobby, I imagine you're the type of dude that is all for letting people fuck around and then helping them find out. What do you think about
I think there's a little more to it than everybody's been looking at. And I explained this to everybody before. Trump offered Ukraine a deal, and the deal really is if you give us the mineral rights, we will not let anybody occupy the motherfuckers with what nobody could grasp. If we own fucking mineral rights there, we're not going to let anybody sit on them. Well, they took a major lithium field the other day. Russia did. Trump's like, get off our shit. Well, what he will do is if he says 60 days, day 60 fucking one, you better look at the sky, because that is a deterrent. That's like, hey,
those freedom Doritos are coming, homeboy, and we're going to liberate you via 30,000-pound bomb up in that ass.
Every time I think about Operation Hammer, I think about the big old giant black dude that sits on the edge of the bed, Barry Wood. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Fuck.
There's already shirts out. Like, they already had a meme. Literally that night, I was like, Operation Midnight Hammer, and then there's the picture of the black dude sitting on the bed, and I was like,
Barry Wood.
Hey, why are you on my feet?
That's awesome.
Dude, the disturbing thing is opening a team chat and clicking on a fucking story that one of your teammates shares, and then that thing fucking pops up, and you're like, motherfucker, god damn it.
It'll never be me.
I
haven't clicked on a link since 2019 for that reason, because you're about to see that heater when that.
I just want to know how much blood it takes. Like, he has to fucking almost faint,
Well, they actually they interviewed him, and that is completely. No, he said that it's complete. That's not real. They actually, I saw some interview with him a long time ago, but yeah, it's.
I still got hope.
Make you feel better about yourself,
shocking.
So knowing that it's not real.
Yeah, I was just like, Jesus Christ. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's just, what are you gonna do with that thing? Where's that going?
Why do you sound so scared? It's not coming to you, my guy. Like, let's take it. Hey, yo, boss.
Because Ben would give us a fucking speech about analyzing that man's life and how that was just awful for him, and fucking it probably fucked up his life.
Yeah.
Oh man. A fun fact about Operation Midnight Hammer. So this is from trusted sources. The weapons school is here in Vegas. It's essentially Top Gun for the Air Force. In order to get in, you have to be recommended by your entire chain of command, and you might not pass, right? So a lot of these B-2 pilots, they go to Whiteman and then they don't want to leave. So what they do is they transfer over to the Guard. For optics and for political reasons, a lot of times they'll put active duty pilots from that base on a lot of these missions. But all of the experience and all the guys that are like super duper experienced B-2 pilots are actually in the Guard there, because they just go over to the Guard and they live there. They staff this not only with almost exclusively Guard dudes. So you had really, really good pilots that were in the Guard, the most experienced dudes. But 100% of the people on that plane were patch wearers. It was a big deal for the Air Force and for the weapons school, meaning every single person that was on that plane that flew a flawless mission, along with the military deception, they had B-2s fly in a different direction, and the other ones flew into Iranian airspace. They were never seen. 36-hour mission out and back, executed perfectly. So shout out to the Air Force weapons school. Those dudes are badass.
Just a rumor mill. I heard Rob O'Neill.
Here we go.
And fucking another guy, I won't say his name, flew one of the bombers themselves.
Well, reportedly, one of the sites that was above ground was taken out by 50 grenades and a Louis Vuitton backpack. That's all I can say.
You didn't know that Tim Kennedy was actually attached to one of the bays, and he actually flew down there with grenades.
Dr. Strange loved it down. Was like yeehaw on it.
He put the bomb right in that ventilation shaft, and fucking, and he pulled 10 fucking G's on the way out.
Yeah.
G's on the way out. How do you get out?
What do you guys think about that shit, man? Because me personally, like, when everything, I personally don't know how to feel about this this shit show that's going on. And my personal opinion of it is it's a loss for everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as this Tim Kennedy debacle, like everybody loses. The Green Beret community looks like shit. Yusuf looks like shit. Tim Kennedy looks like shit. The Green Berets that are currently or that have been talking about it and on it, we look like shit. Like, what do you guys' thought about this? Because in my opinion, nobody wins in this situation because it's still a
Tim wins
to the veteran community. Civilians see it and they're like, "What the fuck is going on? Everything I believed and trusted is a lie." Now it muddies the waters for other veterans that actually have legit stories. What do you guys think? Because as everything develops,
absolutely won, and he didn't write that shit. ChatGPT wrote it. He had somebody do it. Tim makes a fucking 9 videos a day, but he couldn't do anything sincere. He's trying to get an advisory job at the fucking White House. He come out there. I've already started going through the comments just to see, and 90% of them, even a lot of the vet bros are like, "Oh, bro, that's accountability, man. We forgive you." Da, 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 you know, and I'm like, this motherfucker didn't do shit, and he wouldn't have said it if it was not going to cost him a position somewhere, because he hadn't fucking left the goddamn Washington D.C. since Hegseth got in office. You know what I mean? Like, Tim's moving on. Tim moving on up. He's smart.
Stuart, what are your thoughts? Like, who are the winners?
You know,
this fucking shit show.
Yeah. So with Tim, you know, I mean, like I met the guy once before, and he was really, really cool dude, nice, everything like that. He's very, very likable. You know, I have a few friends that served with him, said the exact same thing. You know, it was a little bit kind of crazy. I think everybody in the community kind of knew that there's a lot of exaggeration, or, you know, just kind of like we're telling somebody else's story. It just took so long for it to actually come full circle and him get, you know, called out for it. It's crazy to me. You know what I mean? Yeah, it went for so long. You know what I mean? And just now, and I think that it was one of those things like, you know, he got attention for saying something, and then he had to go bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think it got away from him. And I think that he was at a certain point where he was just like, he kind of believed what he was saying. You know what I mean? And also, a lot of times, like you know, for him, they're doing recruitment, they're doing all of these things. So, I mean, for God's sakes, like a UFC fighter that was a Green Beret. You know what I mean? Like, okay, do you want to be a badass? Then come sign up for this exact same protocol. And so I think that it sucks, but at the same time is needed. And feels like it's happening a lot lately for some odd reason.
The problem is we
one thing I know for sure
to know the same shit that we do, and we don't.
Well, it's not just civilians. One thing I know for sure, USASOC is full of shit, right? Because now they're like, we're investigating Tim Kennedy. Motherfuckers, just 2 months ago, you were using Tim Kennedy to get in touch with Sean about the 10th group dude that blew up the Tesla. Like, motherfucker, like, you mean to tell me you can't tell that Tim Kennedy shit is full of... And now that everything is... The walls are starting to close in, you're like, oh, we're investigating. Like, come on, USASOC. Like, you guys are supposed to be veterans and the most senior, smart dudes within special operations, and you mean to tell me you can't listen to one podcast and say, okay, motherfucker, that dude was useful to you, you were using him, and now you're trying to save face. And it just sucks all the way around because I see this developing, and now USASOC is investigating, articles are dropping. I'm like, really, motherfucker? Like, do you think we as vets in the special operations community are that dumb to where we didn't know that you knew Tim Kennedy was full of shit? You were just using him, and he was useful for your recruiting efforts, so you just... This dude is posting with, you know, Saw Major of the Army. Like, really? Like, you guys can't fucking look at his record and say, oh, he doesn't have... No, man. It's just politics at play for me. And the entire reason why we were doing it, I feel like it's just becoming a shit show, right? Because now you have fucking civilians that have no place, that never served a day in the military. Now they're running their little suck about, oh, stolen valor this. I'm like, bro, you can pick, like, I can pick on my brother, but motherfucker, you can't, right? That's
100%. And I'm gonna defend Rob. I say that all the time. I was like, the fucking, I see the comments from people that would not want to see that dude walk through the door, and I'm like, you know, A community might can fuck with him. I don't say shit to the guy because he's done way more than I've ever fucking achieved. And I tell those guys, I was like, Rob has probably killed more motherfucking people than y'all could ever fucking believe. Did he make up a fucking, I don't know, I wasn't there. But still, he was a tier 1 fucking operator. You know, he's got skills. He just lies.
Hey, have you guys read the book?
Tom, what are your thoughts?
Hey, have you guys read the book Code Over Country?
I have not.
All of y'all? You got to read it if you haven't read it, because this is really talking to what the SEAL community, you know, has done. It's the same. It's the same thing, and you know, it's unfortunate because this type of career path, it draws all kinds, and you know, we have a pretty good selection, but you know, what's the solution? Talking to head shrinkers while you're in. I don't know when you get out. I don't know, but you know, it's not really surprising if you think about it. With PTS and you know, people need money, especially, you know, God love you, you know, the illicit guys, they don't get paid shit. So you have this temptation. We're talking about gambling. This temptation of making big money, and you know, kind of our culture. Well, just stretch the truth a little bit, and then it gets out of hand. And then you have, you know, people in charge, you know, SEAL admirals and captains and Army colonels saying, well,
the Navy is powerful. I didn't realize how powerful they are. The Navy is powerful.
Yeah, and it's really sad because, you know, there's good guys everywhere. You know, I had some bad experience with SEALs in the Marines, but when downrange with DEA, you get to the point where you don't, as long as you get the job done, you don't care. You kind of, you know, you guys probably deploy with other services. You might talk some smack about crayon eaters, but if they're getting the job done, you get close to them, you know, and it's really, it's horrible for everyone. Like you said, it's the whole community. It's not just the Army SF or the Navy SEALs. It's Marines, it's the Air Force, you know, and kind of like, I have a new appreciation for the Air Force. I was contracting them my last job, and very different than the Marine Corps culture, but there's some great dudes there, smart guys. Look how Aaron's awfully smarter than me. You know, he knows, he's pulling facts. But, you know, we got to police ourselves. That's the answer. You know, you can't turn a blind eye to it because it's not going to go away, and we got to handle it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I've been debating it, you know, like, sure, make a fucking rage video because I saw like a bunch of Navy SEALs are starting to come out and say, "Oh, Tim, we can't forgive you for that." And I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up. You need to police up your own fucking community. Like, about face that shit and look at what you got going on. Tim probably learned everything from y'all. And you got
SEAL
the
Team
balls
4
to
killed their
say,
commander while he was deployed and made it look like a suicide. Like, SEAL Team 4,
that is a crazy story.
You killed Job Price and you made it look like a
Job
suicide.
was killed.
Job was killed. It's
100%.
like, we did 2 episodes with Matt Kubler on it. Matt Kubler completely sold me. He's got every single receipt. I do not want to hear from the Navy about anything. The one thing I'll say about the Tim Kennedy thing is every market needs a correction. Housing markets, crypto markets, stock market. Every once in a while, you got to have a correction. And the one positive benefit from this is that all these fucking dork mill talkers are now going to have to watch what they say, and the curtain is pulled back. If Tim Kennedy, Captain America, Green Beret, UFC fighter can get exposed for putting on a facade to get money and grift off of his service, well, then you better watch that ass, Mandatory Fun Day. You better watch that ass, everybody else that's posting in uniforms. I don't care. Like, your shit is trash, and we need a whole correction of the entire organization. And when you see somebody, Golden Boy Tim Kennedy, go down, and I don't have a bad word for him. I've met him a couple times. I've said it a couple times.
I mean, he probably whooped my ass. But he got to show me.
He would. You know, I've rolled with him.
I don't know all that, dog, because I'm digging in my pocket.
He's a nice dude. He was kind with his time. He's gregarious. I'm 1 degree of separation from him. I know some of his friends. Everybody has said good things about the man. I don't have anything for that, but your actions, the accountability, the fallout, it's needed across that whole swath of people that are doing it right now, and I'm fucking here for it.
Yeah, I'm just pissed because at the end of the day, I think no one's looked at the bigger picture, and I don't know if it's because they're fucking stupid, but at the end of the day, it's a loss for the entire USASOC. the entire special operation, the entire SOCOM community. You know what I mean? That this is outplaying, and now it's in the fucking Military Times and all over the fucking place. I'm like, damn, why didn't this motherfucker just come out to begin with and just nip this shit in the butt before it made everybody look like a retard? You know what I mean? So, but it is what it is.
The one advantage that does help is, and I like the guys. I mean, I'm cool with them, whatever. But being the only Delta Force operator I know that is openly talking all the time with a fucking podcast or whatever, you know, with having that moniker behind you, he can make that call out. You know what I'm saying? Like, Joe Blow does it, fucking Marine does it. Everybody, you're jealous, you know, whatever. You can't really say shit, you know, when you got a fucking defo guy over here. So that's the only reason some of that shit gets out.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, also, I don't even think that, like, you know, a lot of people didn't call him out just for this. They just did not want to deal with what was going to come behind that. And that is, you know, I mean, that's a lot of people that are going to basically attack you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But at the end of the day, I mean, again, it happened. And when it did happen, the guys that were talking about it, we got blowback from everybody saying, oh, you guys are jealous. That's eating vets. And I guess what really pisses me off is now those same guys are coming out and they saying, oh, we can't believe you, Tim. Why did you do this? We can't. And I'm like, bitch, like really? Like literally 9 months ago, you were literally holding podcasts saying vets are eating vets. So why are you guys doing this, sir? Like, why can't vets just support each other? And now fucking as of 2 or 3 days ago, the guys are saying, oh my God, I can't believe, and to me, it's like, motherfucker, you guys are just doing this for clicks now, right? You're just doing it because it gets you views, and you're just trying to seem righteous, and it's a bunch of bullshit at this point. That I'm like, you know what?
I'm gonna say fucking the most.
I don't want to be part of this
thing
shit anymore. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say the most controversial thing, because you're talking about the vets on the vets. All vets aren't fucking good people. Okay. I just want everybody to believe that, because you see so many stigmas and politicians and stuff using that. But the vets are doing this and they're homeless. I'm like, that motherfucker's homeless because he wants to be homeless. All right? There's too many goddamn programs. I don't feel fucking sorry for you. I seen too many fucking dirtbags that fucking were thieves, pieces of shit, and they write off other fucking heroes' accolades. Okay? So there's not any. I wouldn't let half the motherfuckers in my house. Like, I mean, that'd be like saying every goddamn person that's in this fucking group over here is a good person because, you know, they served our country. Okay, that motherfucker will steal you, rob you blind, man. Like, every goddamn unit I know, these motherfuckers got a plan to rob a bank.
Well,
That is very.
mostly
very
second
true.
back, okay? It's
Only
just
second back.
second back.
They executed shit. Like, they went for it.
I used to actually bank at that bank.
Did
Like,
you
I've been
really? In
inside that
Washington?
place. Yeah, I was like, for some of my surgeries, I had to go out to Madigan, and so
Yeah.
it was just right outside Post. But yeah, I used to go in there.
Man, money bat. They call it money bat for a reason, folks. You see that diamond with a 2 in it, you know you might have a federal charge pending. What's up?
What you got for
Yeah,
us?
that shit just gets me, man. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Aaron, we've been ignoring the fucking chat. Sorry, guys. If you guys have put super chats out there,
I got them.
been looking at it or following it, we will get you next week. I don't know. I don't know if you can even scroll and see what people are asking.
I got you.
my
So we
phone's
had
been-
one from
and
Wayne
then my
Rowe.
wife
Wayne
texts
Ro-
me. She's like, okay.
hold on,
It's
I
like
got
Whitey
you.
Grove.
Wayne Rove said, "What's up? Thanks for coming in the chat, man." He said that he has seen the Epstein files and he signed the JFK files. That's pretty badass. I tend to believe him. New Bob Dole asked if the best way to combat our enemies in this 5th-gen warfare was just make America the greatest place that you could possibly be. I think, he was talking about like having better educational services, having better services for people and making them just proud of America again. I think that's the problem where we got, right? It's the, hard times create strong men create easy times create, weak men create hard times. And, that's kind of like where we are. man, we made everybody comfortable. We're the best country on the face of the planet. World War II champs, no big deal. Back to back, undefeated 2 times. And I think that's actually what's led to some of the consternation here. A couple more super chats. One of them was asking Bobby, why is it that you have 17 dick pics on your phone right now? Comment.
Because I fucking like a variety. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I get tired of getting the same one every day.
That's a good point.
You know, I hit that side angle, change the lighting a little bit.
This one's from Busby. Busby, thanks for the super chat, man. I'm a huge fan of Gold Rush. Stuart, you just look so good. I'm a huge fan of Gold Rush now. I'm actually going to go watch that bad boy. And that cleans up super chats, Jay.
Season, I think 10 through 14 were
okay.
on.
Yeah. I know you had, what, 4 or 5 seasons, Stuart?
Yeah, it was like 3 seasons. Then we did like Winter's Fortune, and then we had a badass special. So if anyone is, the Oregon season, there is one where they did a special on our team, and we ended up digging, cut down a tree, delimbed it, dug a big ass hole, took that, I don't know, I want to say it was 50-foot tree, erected it, cemented it, and then raised the flag, and that was actually on September 11th. And the flag that we flew was one that they used the VFW, and they draped.
We gotta give them a behind the scenes story sometime with our fucking Oxford graduate, Green Beret.
Yes. Oh, that would be cool.
You would love to have him on here, Aaron. He's he's a archaeologist, 18 Delta. He's also got a degree in geology.
Wait, hold on.
And he
is
or
an archaeologist?
Out of his tits, man, if he has a drink.
Yeah, he's got his doctorate from Oxford.
Holy shit, really?
No,
That's wild.
And what I'm going to tell you is he's a blast to talk with until he has a drink, and he drinks White Claws. And he'll tell you he's not drinking, and Stuart's like, bro, when you flip that damn dump truck, it looked like a rave in that motherfucker.
Yeah, I know. So, dude, there's so many stories. But, he was basically, it was at the end of shift. We were having he was basically pouring himself a drink, and we didn't have the best lighting on the mine site, and he tipped the back of the dump truck, and I could see the flashlight just zinging all over the place because I know exactly he was looking for that bottle that he had spilt over. Just because, but anyway.
Him and one of the other guys that was Rick Douglas, which I love Rick, by the way. He's the Sirens instructor out there right now as a civilian at Camp McCall for the combat controllers. Rick is awesome fucking dude. Stuart said he heard a bunch of screaming and a bunch of "I'll gouge your goddamn eyes out," and he had him like a
fuck you. Yeah. Well, anyway, so I was just like, "What in the shit is going on?" Anyway, yeah. Like the next morning, they both had like scrape marks on their face, but they were cool in the morning. It was I think they had a drink
there, man.
Just dudes being dudes, but we'll end this on this last question, guys, and then wrap this one up. What's one lie that young men believe today that you wish you could set straight? Because this is your opportunity to do so. One lie that the young man growing up today believe that you want to set straight. We'll start with Tom because he was alive when Jesus was around. Tom.
Good one. Hey, how does this thing work here? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. One lie. That money solves everything.
Got it. Walk off.
That's all you got? Okay.
One line, that motherfucker walked out.
He should have just did the Ben and just went straight to black.
Bobby, one lie that young men believe today that you want to make sure that you set straight.
Man, send it over to Stu for a minute because I gotta, I don't know how to say it in Congress because that's how I want to do it. I want to give him my 5 minutes. But
I got
go ahead, Stu, for a second.
Go ahead, Stuart.
I would say this, like all the perception and the physical aspects that you're trying to, the movie stars and the people that that look great and whatnot, they are all on performance enhancing drugs. You know what I mean? Like there's no possible way. And even if what they look like on that magazine cover has been altered, and then on top of that too is that how ripped they are, they only look that way for about 24 hours. You know what I mean? So that physical, perfection that you have in your head, that you were striving for, that you'll do anything for, it doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like if you actually want a real legit what the human body can look like and what it can do, look at fighters. You know what I mean? The people that are being tested by USADA, I'm sure some people still get around it and whatnot, but that is what a peak human male probably looks like, and that's working out, eating, and doing all the other things. The people like The Rock and John Cena and all these people that are natural, it's just not real. So I would say that don't kill yourself for something that eventually is going to kill you if you chase after it.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
I yield my time, Bobby. That's what you were looking
God
for.
damn it. Go ahead. Fucking for the gentleman from Las Vegas.
Man, the number one lie people tell themselves is I have time. You guys have 4,000 weeks in your life. You spend a lot of that, growing up and being a kid. You don't have time. My mom gave me the greatest advice that she ever gave me, and she told me that, hey, when you're 40 to 50 is when you make generational wealth. You're still young enough to grind. You're still old enough to have experience and make those calls for yourself. I love my mama. She was wrong. You need to do that stuff in your 20s. You need to back that stuff up a couple decades. You have not as much time as you think, and putting things off into the future, whether it's physical fitness, whether it's getting that life experience, whether it's making investments, anything in your life, you have less time than you think, and you got to act now. So you do not have the time that you think.
I actually want to elaborate on that, Aaron, because I read somewhere something that was actually pretty fucking interesting, right? This guy was like, hey, this is how he was explaining it to his kids, right? He was like, from the day you're born all the way up to about 20 years old, right? The best thing you can do as a young man is make sure that you don't make any major mistake, any life-altering mistakes, i.e. going to prison because you're selling drugs, killing somebody, getting somebody pregnant at a very young age. From age 1 all the way up to 20, just focus on, just not ending up in jail, right? And then from 20 to about 40, pick a field, pick a occupation, and just make the most money you can make. Preferably, 9 figures and up, right? Because you spend 20 years in a field. Yeah, we spent 20 years in the military. Guess what? We got really freaking good at it. You know what I mean? Like, you put us anywhere in the world, we can probably make some shit happen, right? Same thing when you put somebody in the computer field for 20 years, they're going to become expert at it. So pick a field, 20 years, make as much money as you can, and then 40 to 60, just give back. And I was like, you know what? I can fucking relate to that, right? So, good advice. That's good advice. And then I'll answer mine, and then Bobby will go ahead, Bobby.
Wait. So
I'll answer mine.
I got to listen to you guys, and it really hit on the head for me. So I appreciate that. It was there's no such thing as fast money. The grind and steady work will always win in the end. There's one thing you'll never see, and that's an old drug dealer. Okay, they don't exist. So things to hit on what Jay said also. Your credit, and not being a felon. Mm-hmm. People don't understand or know the repercussions of having that felon charge on you for so long. You can't rent a fucking house, okay? Like, that's how strict it is. Felons can't even rent. Credit is everything. Especially with the amount, what it costs to live nowadays. Any kind of catastrophe you have, a fix you need to do, 99% of the fucking country probably can't put their hands on $1,000. Mm-hmm. Okay? So, take care of those things at a young age. And yeah, you might have to sacrifice some fun here and there. But when you become our age, and trust me, we still feel good. We get to do shit. You don't have to struggle so hard. It's very hard when you're 40, 50 fucking years old and you're just now getting a house, So that's all I say is things like that. There's no such thing as the fast dollar. I've had 100+ grand cash in my drawer and thought I'd never go broke. And poof,
I tell you, gone. I tell you, mine gonna be like being in love doesn't exist before the age of 20. I mean, before the age of 30. Let me explain. Right? Because especially with all the like our generation of finding our sweethearts and getting married, like that generation doesn't exist anymore. Especially with social media and all these different fucking apps. As a man, don't get married before the age of 30. Right? Because
you go out with a hot girl, jack off before you leave. That's all I'm saying, guys. Do that shit. Don't go out there like you're doing, baby. You'll see them a whole nother way.
Yeah.
Like, I seriously think, like, anything before the age of 30, you're going to end up in a divorce, right? Take your time, right? Build yourself, build your wealth, and then find somebody that, because at the age of 30, you can literally say, okay, I am mature as a man, right? The male brain doesn't fully develop to, 25, 26? 25. You know what I mean? And, dude, I got married at 22. Guess what? She gone, right? And, like, we all gone through it. And now with the apps and social media and everything that's going on, it just muddies the waters, man. And you,
I've been catfished so many times, Jay. Like, I mean, I've showed up, and I should have known when that girl sent me them goddamn glamour shots. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't even know if they do those anymore. And I was like, "Fuck, man, you told me I thought you were 30-something. She's 64." But she didn't already fucking goddamn fry some chops and shit up, so I don't know. I watched Wheel of Fortune.
It's not like you didn't leave. I know you didn't leave, Bobby. You stayed. You stayed.
Shit, I mean, but I'm going to tell y'all other something.
So I would say that.
Cougars, guys, listen to me on these cougars. You 20-somethings, y'all fucking need to go after about 32, 33-year-old women. They're going to have about a kid about 7, 8 years old. They're going to have snacks in the house. Look, they're going to have Capri Suns. They're going to have motherfucking Lunchables. All that shit. They're going to have somewhere you can lay your head. All right? But, you know, you get them any older than that, that bitch had me up at 7 a.m. peeling potatoes. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that.
Well, and also I would add this one more thing to it, is that like everybody go and take a good look at your finances and figure out why, if you were saying you're broke, and if you're saying this, you're saying that, go and pull up your bank statements for the last 3 months and say, where is it going? You know what I mean? And another thing too is just start investing. Even it's never too early to start investing. If you're 15 years old, 14 years old, and you're working, take money and put it aside, because if you do that starting now, you will have such a better life, and you're not going to have to work till you're 65 and giving all your best years to somebody who does not give a fuck and who's going to replace you.
Hey, Trump give them a hit up. They're getting $1,000 on all their accounts.
Yeah, and that right there, like I guarantee you $1,000. I mean, just with everything that's kind of going on and whatnot, like you will be able to do amazing things and at least pad your existence when you get older. And it depends on how you want to live, but I just tell everybody, if I could go back, I would have so many more assets, and it's because I was.
Yeah,
there you go.
Did the same thing.
But all right, well, I appreciate you guys, man. Any last words, folks, before we punch out of here? Tom, thank you for showing up for us today. I really appreciate it. Audience, as usual, thank you for showing up, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. I see a couple of you guys became members. We really.
Hey guys, come back. Fucking tell your friends, man. Help us grow a little bit. You know, we'll start bringing on more people. We have some great guests. You'll get to see some guys that you'll see in movies, shit like that. Ask them questions, man. They're normal people too. Fucking, hey Tom, it was really great meeting you, man.
Great meeting you guys. Come out and out San Antonio way. You better give me a holler.
Hey, dude, that's where I bought I'm fixing to go back down there. All my guys are down there from Blackwater. Ellis Animal lives down there. Charlie's down there. Everybody's down there.
Yeah, that is the place to go.
Jay,
Texarkana.
We got to connect, man. All right.
Definitely.
Awesome.
My buddy Kern is a recon Marine from the 90s. He lives down that way as well, and he's the vice president of Scout Sniper Association now. So
yeah, you know, I was told, I got a bunch of SF buddies here, that San Antonio has the second largest SFA chapter outside of Bragg. I don't know if that's true or not. But
Probably
I'll
is.
give a funny story just to close it out.
Yeah.
When the State Department was offering $3 million for Tren de Agua leaders. Well, we tracked one of them down to San Antonio. I I couldn't get the State Department to tell me what I had to do to get the money. Like, does he have to be convicted? Does he have to be alive? Like, what do I got to do? Because I had a bunch of fucking pipe hitting dudes down there, and we didn't put a camera on them watching them at this place, because $3 million was just to get his ass snatched.
That's some good money right there.
Yeah,
So Bobby told me about this, and the list that he had of people that were involved, I was like, it would have been a bad day for some.
Oh, we had some great intel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all right, folks. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in and spending your Friday evening with us, like always. Stuart, Bobby, Tom, thank you again for showing up and supporting. Folks, again, if you are not a member of the channel, support. We appreciate you guys. You guys have a good evening. Thank you very much.
Hoorah.
Thanks, guys.